Okay, thank you. Thank you, Naiva. I'm gonna get that out of the middle of my screen. Anyway, can you all hear me well? Just thumbs up, yes. Um, I want to first start by apologizing. I woke up this morning with some allergy or something, so I'm sniffling. I've got my hot tea here and my Kleenex, so and I'm kind of congested, so apologize for that. But Naiva, I want to thank you for inviting me to do this because it's great practice and it's actually something I love doing. I love teaching. I think most of you know my background, but I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. But first, really, I want to really appreciate you, Naiva, for doing this, having these team Zooms where we get to learn and be part of it. And also, you have been so responsive and available and supportive to Andy and I as we're doing this. So I really appreciate that. And I hope to be like that with my team that I work with. So yeah, so I've been doing psychotherapy for about 25 years, almost 25 years until the pandemic. And when that hit, I was already on my way out of that profession in terms of shifting to working Miriam full time. And so it was really a kind of perfect timing for me. I closed my office and I was able to refocus. And so that's been a couple years of working network marketing full time. And it's still shifting every month, every quarter. It's really, I get farther or deeper seated, more grounded in myself as a network marketer and as a Miriam, a sharer of the health products that we have. So that's a teeny bit about me, and it also, I think, reflects on what I'm going to talk about today. So Naiva had asked for me to talk about training, first early in the month training. It's the 5th already, and that makes a difference. It's the 5th of the month already. And so I'm going to train a little on mindset and action. And one of the things why I mentioned being a psychotherapist, because I worked with mindset forever. I mean, that's what we do. We work with psychotherapy and communication skills and criticism of self-worth, self-love, and so all that mindset. And I think it's extremely important in this business. I don't necessarily think it's extremely important in every business, but in network marketing, it is. And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk about some action steps, first of the month action steps. And let's see, I'm looking at the time. I'll probably try and do about 30 minutes of training, if that's okay. And then we can have a little question and answer or, discussion. And also I have to jump off the call at 1:45 because I have another Zoom at 1. So, and another appointment. So yeah, okay. So let's start mindset. Why is that so important? Another thing I'll share about, Andy and I have been doing this year-long training with, if you guys are familiar with GoPro, with Eric Worre. And it's a big training. I mean, it's a big commitment, it's a big time commitment, with a big money commitment, but it's also a huge commitment to my personal growth as a network marketer. And so early on so it started actually mid-December of 2021, and it'll go through a year, through the early part of December 2022. So in January, one of our all-day trainings, and we have all-day trainings, and for the first 90 days, we had daily trainings every day. And so you're right, Ava, when you said, I have been around as a sponge, taking up all the training for years. this one man who I really liked, his name's Alec Morton, and I'm going to talk about a couple people we've been trained by and a couple books that we've been reading lately. He started his talk. The first thing he said was, success is 95% my spirituality, 95% spiritual. And I went, and of course that grabbed my ear, and I liked him immediately. He's 33 years old. He's been in network marketing for about 8 years, I think, since he was about mid-20s. And he's, one of these guys that's multi-millionaire and all of that, has been very successful. And so when he's talking about 95% of that is, and the word he used was spiritual, I would probably, just in terms of semantics, I would say that success is 95% mindset. And for me, mindset includes spirituality, and includes, how I think about myself and how I see the world and all of that. So if that's true, and everything I'm going to share today, of course, is through my lens. It's my perspective, and I expect that we all have a little bit different lens, because we're all different and we've all had different, life experience. So I will claim this as mine, take responsibility for, what comes out of my mouth, which sometimes you never know what will come out of my mouth. I have said that in therapy so many times. So. But one thing I really believe is that we are spiritual beings walking a human existence. And so if that's true, I want to be both grounded in, what is true about that for me and why is that important? And how do I walk this human path, and what's important about that for me? So mindset. Why is it important? Because I would say because it drives our behaviors, or the way we think, the way we feel, are all part of our, belief system, and our beliefs drive our behavior. So if we have a strong why, what we call a why, if our why is strong, then that is part of our mindset. And I know my why has changed. That's developed over the last couple of years since I, signed up with Anime way back when, probably 4 years ago now. And I have to say, it wasn't very strong for a long time. So I'm going to ask some questions, and if you put answers in the chat, that would be really helpful for me. So we'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being pretty weak and 10 being super strong, how strong is your why today on a scale of 1 to 10? I would say, I'll start it off by saying mine is right up there at a 9 or a 10. And it wavers, our why wavers every day, right? Or it's a dynamic thing. So 8's, how strong is your why, right? 1 to 10. Yeah, so if that's driving my behavior, I really need to connect with it on a daily basis. So I'm curious if you do that. I'm curious. I think that's an important piece to do. My why has developed into, it's all about freedom for myself and, for my life with Andy and all of that, but it's also really about freedom teaching. That's why I joined the profession as a psychotherapist, is to help others to create the life they wanted. That drove me, because that was super important to me, and I was passionate about it. And then to be able to help others do that. So now with Miriam, I've integrated nutrition into that. And now the more I've learned and educated myself about the source of our foods, and the lack of nutrition on the grocery store shelves, which I know all the people, us here, are really aware of. But we see new articles every day almost. I mean, regularly about that topic. So I'm super passionate. That's part of my why, is to help us to have freedom with our food and freedom with that. So that creates the health in our body, right? Cellular health. So yeah, so mindset is part of that, is the belief. Part of that is how I feel about myself. Part of it is about my my thoughts. And if my thoughts, I want to be connected to and aware of my thoughts on a daily basis. And really, if I'm honest, I want to be connected to them 24/7, not just once a day, but many times a day. Like what I just said, if I say something to a friend, what drove that language for me? So was it fear-based or was it love-based? Was it what am I trying to what am I trying to be to the other person? Is it positive or negative? If I've got negative thoughts about I'm going to talk about abundance, because that's a piece I'm working on now. I've worked on lots of pieces throughout. I've done lots of work and in my spiritual world, in my psychology. One piece that I would say has been less developed for me, even though I've always thought there always will be enough money. There always, I've been a homeowner many times over. I feel very abundant in my world, but I also have had a limiting belief where I've had kind of a ceiling on it. And so what I'm doing with that is unpacking that ceiling. Like, hold it. And what part of me thinks too much money is bad? So I'm just using that. I mean, we could use positive or negative thinking about any topic, about relationship or about gender, about, about sexual orientation, about religion. I mean, so all those topics, politics. Yikes, we don't want to go there. So, but so if I think I can, then, right, I can. There's those sayings about if we believe that we can do something, we can do it. If we don't believe we can do it, there's no hope. So, so I have to start with mindset, and then I can take that into action. So again, awareness of, am I seeing myself as through the lens of self-love, as a capable being, as confident, as beautiful, and not just outwardly, but inwardly, as, heart-driven? Am I seeing myself that way? So that's what comes out of me. Am I seeing myself as generous? That's one of the things I really, I want to be seen that way. So how do we want to be seen? And are we seeing ourselves that way? I'm going to pause there for a minute. It just dawned on me. One of the practices I used to do in workshops about relationship, was to be able to say, name 3 characteristics about how you would like to be seen by others. So 3 characteristics about how you'd like to be seen. And then think about, how do you see yourself through those lenses? Like like to be seen, I want to be seen as compassionate. I want to be seen as compassionate. Do I see myself as compassionate? Or do I see myself as skimping on compassion, or not being, giving enough of a being? So that's one way to think about how we see ourselves. So I have a couple notes I'm gonna follow, just so I share with you, what I want to. So go, yeah. Oh, Hey, Sarah, welcome. So I'm just talking about mindset, and I was just going to share two books that I have been reading in the last couple months. One came to me through this year-long training, and that it's an older book, and I had never, I mean, I'd heard of the book. It's called You Were Born Rich, Bob Proctor. He's kind of old school, and he is also was an amazing visionary in this world. So You Were Born Rich. I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. And you can, I downloaded it from, Google. You can download it for free. And we read a little bit of it every day in our meditation for about a month. And it's got some old school language in it, but it's centered in these thoughts about we can do anything we want when we set our mind to it, so when our mindset is there. You Were Born Rich. I think it was written in 1984. A newer book that I have read, I've shared this, I've given it away. It's this newer look at that. Is called You Are a Badass at Making Money. Jen Sincero. How many of these people, how many of you know this? Do you know her, Jen Sincero? She started with You Are a Badass. And then she wrote You Are a Badass at Making Money. And I hear Bob Proctor in this book, but it's, it's newer language and it's fun and it's easy read. I have it on audio. I have given copies of it away. I have 2 hard copies, one's all, cut up. These are really good books at talking about mindset and why we want to look at ourselves differently and how. They have lots of how-tos in them. So that's kind of that piece I want to share about that. Also, if you're taking notes, I don't know if I mentioned the person who said 95% of success is spiritual is Alex with an X Morton. So tying our mindset to our why on a daily basis, that's really important to me, because for how I see that, how I've come to develop that as a network marketer, is that that is what sustains me when things are kind of tough, or when I get a no from somebody that kind of feels pretty jarring or rude. Stephanie Dawn just had a little bleep on her page about this yesterday, about a no that she received. And I thought of this, it's my mindset, my conviction, my why that let me stay in the power of what I believe. So then let's talk a little bit about what I believe. So the next thing I want to share is, okay, I'm taking time here, is the 7 areas of belief. And so if you have worked with, I learned about these in particular from the group Next Level Gold Jumpers and from Tracy Fuchiconi and Tevia Jones. And they had shared about it a couple different times and have a couple pretty depthful trainings on them. So, and I think they're really important. I talk about them all the time. And these are the things that I think are going to set up the beginning of our month. I'm going to come back to that, the beginning of our month, to be successful at the end of the month. So what are the 7 areas of belief? So in order, they start with profession. So the profession of network marketing. So what, again, I'm going to ask you to write these down, and then you might make a little note. What is my level of belief? Is it strong or weak? Is it at a 1 or is it at a 10 on the profession of network marketing? So I'll name these off, and then we can take a minute and just say, what's your level of belief? So the first one's network marketing, the business model, the profession. The second one is the company, our company of Miriam. Number two is the founders or owners of the company. So what's the strength of belief about Amy and Dave? Number four is products. How do we feel about our products? Usually pretty good. Number five is team. And teams can be broad. Here's our smaller team of essential wellness. And then we have the next level team. We're on a bigger team, the agents of change. So we have these layers of teamwork. What about our systems? That's number six. Our systems, our comp plan. Recently, we've added in systems boards. How do we feel about that? Or what's our level of belief about that? And I'm going to say a word more about that. And number seven, the all-important self. What's our belief in self? So when I talk about what's our belief level, like how much do we trust it? How much do I trust myself? How much do I trust the profession? How much do I trust the products? How about Dave and Amy? What's my level of integrity? Or does it meet my standards, my value set? So on all seven of those areas of belief, starting with the profession and ending up at self, I would invite you to write down, whether you do this right in the moment or whether we discuss this in a few minutes, what's my level of belief? 1 to 10. 1 is really not very good, like I'm almost out the door. And 10 is I'm unmovable. It's an, irrevocable belief system. So why is that important? My level of belief around network marketing, so here's my story. I knew nothing, zero, about network marketing when I came in. And so my level of belief was, faulty at best. And what maybe I knew is, is it, I didn't ever use the word pyramid scheme, but is it, I don't even know what it is. Is it a pyramid scheme? No, I don't think so, but what the heck is it? So I had to totally learn what that meant and what the business model is about. And I've come to know, a couple of years ago, I started calling it the most equitable and equal opportunity business model possible, because nowhere else can you do what we do and make the money that we make, have the freedom that we have, be the entrepreneurs we are with this business model. So my level of belief in network marketing as a profession has gone from kind of a, unknown and somewhere between 0 and 1 to a 10, to a 9 or 10. I'd say 10 most days. I'm pretty talk to me about that, And then, so each of those levels of belief affect how strong I am in my sharing and how strong I am in the action that we're gonna, be in every day. So this isn't a training about levels of belief, areas of belief, but we could do a training about that sometime and kind of dive deeper into that. But those beliefs would affect my mindset and affect my action plan. Okay, so yeah, unstoppable. So I'm just looking at the chat here. Oh yeah, Katrina, so you have that book. That's a great book. And I know I suggested it. I know Cammie liked it as well as I did, I think. So, so I'm going to move into the action piece of what I'm talking about. So if mindset is really super important, 95% of our of the system, is action only 5%? Well, not really, but you can't really have successful action or sustainable action without the mindset. So it has to be there, and then we have to be in action. So it's a relationship between mindset and action. So my mindset's strong, then I have to be in action. So I was thinking about an example of this. I was thinking about, if I want to go to a yoga retreat, let's say my desire is to go to a yoga retreat in Mexico in December. And because I just saw it, somebody advertised it, a friend of mine advertised it last week on Facebook. And I thought, oh, that'd be cool. And oh, look at that beautiful place they're staying in. Oh, the ocean and all that. Well, I can set my mindset. I can set my belief that I'll go. I'll make the money to pay for it. I can see myself there. I can see myself there on December 1st, and all of that. But if I don't contact them and sign up for it, only has space for 12 people. If I don't sign up for it, I'm not getting in. If I don't make an reservation for a flight down there, I can't even get to Mexico. So I have to take those action steps. If I don't pay for it, they're probably not going to let me come. So I can't enjoy that piece that without some action behind my mindset. Makes sense? I may pause there and just check in and see if how is my pacing going? Naiva, let me ask you this. How's that? Is it making sense? Is what I'm saying landing?
I love everything that you're sharing. It's right on point. I love the mindset.
Okay, good. So now, thank you. So now the action plan. So first of the month, I think we're already at the 5th of the month, and happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. So, so a number of the things I'm going to say really should have been done on the very first day of the month, but I'm going to say them because this is how I set up the first of my month. And sometimes I begin doing this on the day, the last day of the previous month. So I'm setting myself up for the first day. So I get up, the first thing I do, I get up and make coffee in the morning and take my aminos. Then I go to my computer and I put in my order for the month. That is the first thing I do on the first of the month. And not only do I think we should do that for ourselves so we get these products in our bodies, but it also helps the person above us. And I want, so on this call, Anime is above me and Naiva is above me, and I want those guys above me in the upline of Miriam. I want those guys to be really successful. So I want them to know I'm here, I'm committed to myself, I'm committed to, my family, and I'm committed to my business and my team. And so these guys above me, I want them to know that. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is, right now we've got rank declaration, right? So right away on the first of the month, I do rank declaration. And that has served me the last couple months, because I think last month we got, I got about 450, 480 extra points because of the rank declaration. So I want to do that. I want to prepare my month. I was saying this to somebody the other day. I really have come to know that front loading my month with action steps is what helps me be successful in those last 2 weeks of the month, or that last week of the month, or the last few days of the month, and meet my goals. So again, those goals, I want to set goals. And how do I do that? I do it within the action plan worksheet. So the action plan worksheet that is now in boards is a little bit different. I really like how they've rewritten it. I think it's really a useful action plan worksheet, and I fill that out every month, and I have my month date there and what, what rank I want to achieve, but also how many points I want to get, how many new brand partners I want, how many new customers I want in a month. These are my goals. And what I do, so let's say I want to make diamond, or I want to make director. I mean, it doesn't matter. How do I break down if I'm wanting to make director? Maybe I'll go to the middle. I'm going to go to the middle of those two. If I want to make executive, so that takes 6,000 points, certain number of active enrollees. I never have trouble with active enrollees, I have many of those, but you have to have 6,000 points to get there. How do I get 6,000 points in a month? I can't do it in the last week of the month. I know that. So what I do is I break it down by number of days in the month. So 6,000 plus divided by number of days in the month. I have to have a certain number of points every day. Now, I'm probably not going to hit those every day, but some days I'm going to hit twice that much. Or if I have a launch event or launch a new brand partner, I might quadruple that in a day. So I want to plan, do, review. So I'm going to plan for, does anybody know, I think it's about 200 points a month, 6,000. I'm going to do this. If we had 30 days a month, 200. So I need 200 points in a 30-day month. So if I don't hit that one day, or if I am planning a launch event or a Zoom event that I know I might sign some people up that day, so then I might triple my points or quadruple that day. So at the end of the week, not the end of the month, but the end of the week, I want to review. I actually review these every single day, and I'll show you how I do that. But I want to review, did I make at 1,400 points this month, I mean this week, which would have been 7 times 200. And, if I have, great. If I haven't, what am I doing that is not serving me? Or how do I need to up my game to get there? Because seriously, if my goal is for a certain rank and a certain dollar amount, I'm serious. I'm serious about my goal. How am I going to get there if I don't plan for it? If I don't break it down? How am I going to make a dollar amount goal of, my goal right now is 10 grand a month. How am I going to make 10 grand a month? I'm not doing that in Miriam right now, but I'm going to be. Mark my words, I will be, but I don't want to be doing it 5 years from now. I don't want to look back 5 years from now and say, oh yeah, I'm still not there because I haven't been planning, or I didn't front load my month. So put in our order, rank declaration, the action plan for the month, what's the roadmap to get there. So how do I get to my rank goal and to my dollar, my income goal? How do I do that? I do that by helping my team. I do that by being a good customer service rep to my customers. And I'm really good with my customers. I help them, I check in on them all the time. And I think boards is amazing. It's really giving us a way to do that easier than I ever had, 2 years ago. So that's the plan, do, review, front loading, daily and weekly points. I'm just going to show you. So you guys might have a system that you use. Can you see this? This is a daily planning sheet that I use. So anybody who doesn't have this or would like a copy, I'm happy I'll just forward you it. I'll scan a copy and email it to you or whatever. But, or maybe I can do it easier some other way. But so this, I fill these out, 30 of them on the first day of the month. So I have them filled out with my name, my rank, that is my goal, my dollar amount that I want to make. And then it has a place for your morning volume and your daily points added and your evening volume. But it has lots of lines down here. See all those lines? So that is for contacts. So what we, how many times have we all said, this is a business of relationship and communication. So one of the ways that I have taken from one of the trainers that we had in, oh my goodness, look at the time, in the GoPro was, and I'll just drop this and then I'm going to pause, was to do 4 activities 5 times a day. So this is about creating a list that you're working with and making your funnel have more people in it all the time. So I'm going to drop this. Every day that you're working your business, and let's say I'm working my business 5 days a week. So I went 5 new contacts. How'd I get them? Maybe on social media, maybe somebody I met in the grocery store, maybe somebody at the coffee shop. 5 new contacts, 5 new conversations. So that means with those new contacts, I'm saying, wow, you just moved to Arizona? I mean, I have more people in Bend moving to Arizona. I start a conversation, and it's not about Miriam, it's about connection. Really, I'm so interested in everybody who's moving to Arizona because I love that. I might move there. So 5 contacts, 5 new conversations, 5 new exposures. So what's exposure? An exposure would be, would you like to hear about what I've got going on? Would you like to hear about what I do? I've got a 90-second video that is about me and my story. Could I send that to you? We've got tons of tools on from Miriam, beautiful tools. Those are all exposures. A connect call would be an exposure. Let's see, what else would be an exposure? I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. Conversation on the phone would be an exposure about Miriam. And 5 follow-ups. So I've done contacts, moving contacts into conversation, conversation into exposure, and exposure into a follow-up. So if I do 5 of those every day, that's 20 items that I'm going to do. The first one takes about a minute to, depending upon you're doing it. If you're doing it in social media, it does not take long to ask for 5 new friendships on social media, or to, follow 5 new people on Instagram. So, and then the next 3 items take a little more time. But so I'm going to pause that. I could talk for a long time about this stuff, but I'm pausing. So I need to go in just a few minutes, but I'm going to stop myself here and open it up. Naiva, I'm passing it back to you. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. It was, it's fun to do. I hope that was of value.
Thank you so much, Miriam. That was wonderful. And I love that you can just keep going. I knew you could. When you asked me what to train on, I was like, Miriam, you've been, absorbing for so long. I know you have lots of notes to pick from. Just pick a page and train on it. So I'm glad that you were able to just get really inspired and share from your heart. And you shared tons of golden nuggets with us today around mindset and setting your action plan. You started with our why. And then also our mindset, and then getting into action, right? Getting our action plan, and then even giving us some tips of how to move that needle forward with, reaching out to new contacts, following up, and moving that needle forward with each person. So that's really, really helpful. And yeah, I'd love to see that graph. If it's a Google Doc, then that's a really easy way to share it. Just a link in Google Docs if it's there. Otherwise, however you want to share it, that would be great. And I'd love to open it up for anybody else that wants to share some takeaways or thank Miriam for her training. And I know she has to go in just a minute.
Yes, it would also be helpful for me to hear what Naiva just asked for as any takeaways, because that's great feedback for me. And let's just do popcorn style, like just hop in and say something if you'd like versus hand raising.
Hey, I'll hop in. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Thank you so much. That was really great, Miriam, to hear all of the things that you've been working on. And even though like some of these things the 7 areas of belief, for example, I've learned about a long time ago, it's just always nice to refresh our memory about how much we believe in all of these things. And for me, my levels are pretty high still after all these years. And I really liked what you were saying also about the 4 activities 5 times a day. I think that is super helpful. And the pace was great for me. I felt really engaged and just great to hear you in action. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to see you, Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. I got a lot from that as well. It's such a pleasure hearing all of this in general, but yeah, everything you said really resonated, and it's helpful to have that like step-by-step thing of like she just mentioned those 4 things 5 times a day or what have you, the making sure that you're strategically connecting and strategically going about your day to really take it seriously and navigate it based on your initial intention for the day, which is writing out that worksheet, which I think is really powerful. So thank you, Miriam.
I want to say I loved what you just said, Cami, is take it seriously. You know, that's a piece that I often think about. Are we seriously, are we, you know, do we have a serious business, or are we that thing? Are we doing a hobby? So I'm serious. I'm totally serious. So I'm glad you are as well. Thank you.
Yeah, having sat with you through
Thank you, Miriam.
2+ years of trainings, you know, huge amounts of information. It was great to see how you distilled it down to just a few points, you know, that you could share in a 30 or 45-minute thing. Because sometimes, even though the trainings are great, the volume of information can be just kind of overwhelming sometimes. So that was a good job.
Anyone else? Why do I have to go, Miriam? So I won't hold you up any
Thank you so
longer.
much, Miriam.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Katrina. Sorry.
I love what you said about the Eric Worre thing. If you believe it, it comes true. That hit home for me.
Thank you, Katrina. Me too. That is just, it's so true. If we can see it and believe it and imagine it, we can manifest it. Totally true.
We can achieve it. I like to say womanifest it.
I liked how you were incorporating that we have to put action into our goals too, because that's such an important piece.
Absolutely. So anyway, my loves, thank you for Naiva for inviting me to do this. It's fun. I like doing it. It's good practice. And I'm really, again, thankful if it has some value to you all, and you can take it out there and help you be really successful in your business. And, you know, I wish for all of us to be more successful than we can even imagine. So anyway, I'm gonna hop off and go to my next call, and see you all soon. Lots of love.
Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And I just want to let you all know that tomorrow on Fierce Friday, it's going to be all about the mamas. So if you want to come share some of, well, except for you, Andrew, welcome to come share your dad or uncle tips. But other than that, all the mamas on here, you're welcome to come share some mama tips. And it's going to be all about nourishing the moms with Mother's Day coming up. And then next week on Fierce Friday through the Million Mom Movement, we're going to be going live from Diamond Club. So we're going to be having all of the Diamond leaders that want to come and share just like a 2 or 3 minute success story on our Fierce Friday. So it's our goal is to have a whole hour of just really quick success stories from 30 or 40 of the leaders there, or however many we can get on, I know those 2 and 3 minutes sometimes get expanded because we have such amazing stories. So we'll see how much we can get done there. But I just wanted to go ahead and invite you now so that way you can mark your calendars and hopefully join us on those Zooms as well. And other than that, I'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And then if anybody else has if you have any takeaways or shares that you want to share, and open it back up.
Yeah, thank you, Naiva, for setting this up.
Thank you. So nice to see you on here too, Sarah. And if you all didn't notice, in the comments or chat or whatever you call the little thing on the side, I did put the link to the new action plan worksheet that just came out recently, as well as the links to join the Miriam boards, which is the new business app that we're using that has all of our scripts and things in it. So Sarah, I don't know if you knew about that yet, but the links are in the little sidebar in the comments in the chat. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining. There's a little lag, so hopefully I'm not interrupting. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, you're frozen, Naiva.
Oh. All right. Well, my service isn't the best out here. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we will catch up soon. I'll see you next Thursday. And Sarah, let's catch up soon. I'll give you a call. Aloha.